Run like I don't got an estate. Yeah. Run it up. Yeah.
There's Harry Kane. Harry Kane drops down today. Tottenham is Sheffield United. And you know, you thought I am not like, what Harry Kane brings to that side, right?
I love it. Welcome everyone to an episode again of the Box Score. We have Ajay Williams, my comrade. You know, we've been together for a long time. We do this thing every single weekend. Now we've added, well, as you all the guys know, Bob Marley celebrated his birthday yesterday. Rest in peace to Bob. And we brought on Marley. Marley Leacock. It's a pleasure, sir, to have you on the show. I thank you. It's good to have you. Then we've also added Mr. Barcelona, Jerahmeel Jilts. I had to call out your whole government so that people could identify you at any point in time during the future. And now we will commence to discuss football, European football, everything football related. So the first question is, who has been the most valuable footballer in the Premier League so far? And it's a fairly interesting question. Usually it's an honor that is bestowed upon the most critical player on the team. One that, when not available, the shape or the presence of the team can change. It contributes to the team performing well. So my answer to this question is Ruben Dias. And the reason for that is when you look at his impact on the team, his influence on the team, you can see that City right now are the best defensive team in the league. They've only conceded 14 goals. You can all check it up. You could fact check that. They've only conceded 14 goals. Under him, he joined the team in the third game of the season. And in 20 games that he's played, there's only conceded 8 goals, my friend. His impact, his influence on his center pairing with John Stones is renowned. When you look at what they've been able to say, what they've been able to do, it's been phenomenal. So when you quantify all the information and the data presented, Ruben Dias has to be the most valuable player, but because without him, City will struggle defensively, and with him, they've been strong and astute at the back. And it's been unlike any Premier League side, any Pep Guardiola side, because they've been known for their offensive prowesses. However, under Pep, they're more known for their defensive prowess with Dias at the helm. So any different points of view? Anybody want to share in what I said there?
I can go right after you, right? Because that's a fair show. That's a fair show. And I think that's a very credible argument. But I want to go right after you because I'm picking one of his teammates, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. Because although I understand what you're saying, and I get that, I feel like there are other factors that have contributed to Dias and not just Dias, because he's been remarkable, but have contributed to the defense being really good as well, right? Such as the resurgence of John Stones, and not even just resurgence, because he was nonsense for a while. So resurgence is kind of like a stretch. But to me, right, the person that is keeping this team ticking, and you're right, the defensive record has been exceptional. They're not the highest scoring team in the league. They're averaging just about 2 goals a game or something like that, or just under, I think. I think it's 43 goals, yeah, and 42. Correct. So, but for me, the person that is keeping this team ticking is Ilkay Gundogan, right? Yeah, I'm going to say Gundogan because, yeah, he's a man controlling the team, because there's no one person you could point out who scores goals. In terms of the defense, like I just pointed out, as much as Ruben Dias has been like void of any sort of errors, he's been exceptional. You know, any superlative along that line you could put. But like I pointed out, John Stones next to him has been immense as well, right? In terms of the midfield, though, I think the person that is driving the team, controlling the team every game in and game out, and the person whose absence hurts the team the most, in my opinion, so far, has been Gundogan. And this could be a personal thing too, right? Because he's a player I like, and I kind of wanted to see him get to this stage when he was bought by the team, because he had the injury and all that. And never mind, I was kind of cringing when City came up with the Gundogan jerseys, and also I was like, bro, the man is dead. Don't do that to you. It's just an injury. He can come back. But man's back now, and I feel like he's a man pulling the strings on the team, and it says a lot about his mental fortitude. Basically, the fact that he's come back, he is the main man of the team. In the Sterling, in the Mahrez, in the Aguero or Gabriel Jesus, is Gundogan, number one. Number two, games like today, when the man missed a penalty and he was still able to go on and continue to lead the team and score a brace. His head didn't drop. He just basically, all right, I missed, I have to get over it quickly and continue to do what he had to do to keep the team going. So as much as I can accept your premise that it could be Diaz, I feel like while there are more factors that point towards the City's defense being so resolute and sound, but I don't feel like there's any other player on City's team, and City is the most consistent team in the league at this point. So I think the most valuable player in this team is Gundogan right now.
All right, so I could jump in now.
Go ahead, Mr. Marley.
Right. So I can start the Hornets next now, and I can disagree with Doms first and foremost. And then I can disagree with Ajay just a little bit more than that too, just for good measure. Because while I understand Dom's argument, and I genuinely didn't even look at it from that perspective, it crossed my mind, but I think the argument wasn't as strong until Sir Doms put it over. I get why he went for Diaz. I mean, you got to say that Flan at this point, that before was stuttering. By City standards, they were stuttering before the signing of Diaz, and he came and solidified the side. He's a natural leader. You can see it in his play as well. He is a natural leader, and I think that's what City was missing in a lot of regards as well. Got a lot of flair players, got a lot of good players, but somebody that can literally take the game by the scruff of the neck at the back as well. That's the invaluable. And Doms as an Italian and AJ coming from the glory days of Arsenal, I'm sure both of them will appreciate that. Jokes, I'm too sure about you. Of course. But in all honesty, I can see Dom's argument. AJ argument, I get yours to a certain extent. Me and you normally agree on most things, but I'm sure I follow you here, buddy. Because in my opinion, when you look at most valuable player, right? This is how I interpret it. When you look at most valuable, if you ask me who's the most valuable player in the Premier League, I can look at the teams and try to scan the teams and try to tell you which side, if that particular player was to go down today, would absolutely crumble to pieces. That's my interpretation of it.
I know where this is going.
But in my opinion, I
hope this is not this thing going where I think it's going. Go on.
But yeah, in my opinion, it's like which side got absolutely crumbled to pieces. And for me, them two players, how I was looking at it was either Harry Kane or Bruno Fernandes. No. The stats gonna be there because I don't want to be one of them persons that just run on the stats and say this person got the most goals and assists. So that automatically makes them the most valuable player. Because you could be playing in a attack heavy side like Liverpool and you could start pad, in my opinion, basically. But I think with those two players, I go in with Harry Kane. But the reason that I highlight them two players is because I think if, let me say for instance, a Gundogan was to go down right now, yes, City would miss him. He is a driving force this year. He is propelling the side. I think Manchester City could go.
Agreed.
If Ruben Diaz was to go down right now, there would be a worse side. Let me say not. There won't be as good a side. But would City still not roll over 75, 80% of the size of the Premier League without Ruben Diaz?
No.
They probably would. They probably would. But if Harry Kane drops down today, Tottenham is Sheffield United. And you thought I'm not like, what Harry Kane brings to that side, right?
I love it.
What Harry Kane, Rohan, sorry buddy, my sincerest apologies. But if Harry
Apologize
Kane...
for what? Apologize for what?
But yeah, if Harry Kane If Harry Kane drops down right now, that side crumbles to pieces. Harry Kane right now is involved in 24 goals. 24 goals in what? In 22 games? That's crazy stats. That's crazy production. Again, I just don't want to look at goals and assists, but when you look at how Harry Kane drops into space in this season for that side, rides tackles, the picks up the pass before the assist pass, like not even always getting the stats. Harry Kane has been immense for that side, and it's crazy how much of an influence he has on that attack, on that side overall. Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, to a slightly lesser extent, not only based on the fact that he got about cover, he involved in 22 goals, Harry Kane in 24. I let not blame him. He is hugely influential to Manchester United as well. But if Fernandes goes down right now, would it impact Man United the same way that it would Kane and Spurs? I ain't entirely sure. So I don't know. That's my point. If you ask me most valuable player, you take this player out, this side turns to shambles. Harry Kane for me.
All right.
Fair point. All right. Let me join in here. I was thinking about it. I think it's a very good question to bring, and for each team, I think each team has its own viable player, but I can just lean towards one. But I had a few in mind. I was looking at Thomas Tuchel, but after my thing is with Tuchel, he pops it and score goals. But if he goes down, I figured maybe Nobel will come in and put in a shift. So let me not lean towards Tuchel. He will put in a shift.
Well, the man said put in a shift. Yeah, he didn't say he didn't say replace. He did say put in a shift. But
he didn't say good. He didn't say good.
Yeah, just a shift. Just a shift. It could be a good one. Go ahead, just man.
I was leaning towards Bruno, but like Marley said, if he's out, I figured someone would step up and step in, so it would not damage them like how he put Kane with Spurs. But however, I was leaning more towards Aston Villa and Jack Grealish. I think if Grealish is out, that side is relegation bound. That side is championship level because Grealish runs, takes tackles, the most foul player in the league. Before that, I think Aston Villa right now would not even be where they are in the league. He assists Watkins. He has a good partnership with Watkins, and I believe without Grealish, Aston Villa would be a whole different team, championship level. So that is my most viable player for the season. Just going based on a different level, you all guys went for the top 6 and going in more mid-table-ish relegation zone. Jack Grealish is my guy. Most viable.
I can say this though. I think that's a commendable point though, Jills. But I want to piggyback something that Marley said earlier. He said that if Ruben Dias goes missing, he feels as though City would still be able to cope. And part of the renaissance of John Stones is because of the partnership with Ruben Dias. It's part of his leadership. And you said it rightly beforehand too. So if they lose Diaz,
they have Emerick Laporte.
Will crumble.
They have Emerick Laporte though.
John Stones has been a shadow of himself the last 3 seasons.
But if Diaz goes down, do they not have adequate cover? And we talking about Laporte. We talking about Laporte here.
Top.
Yes, yeah, but Mike. Okay. He is a top. But no one would say that Laporte, coupled with John Stones, will be able to do an adequate job at the back.
We don't know at this point. The thing is, we're talking about taking out someone and plugging someone else in, right? In terms of the quality, Emerick Laporte could walk into any other Premier League team. And the fact of the matter is,
No, I say it's not a huge drop off at all. I agree with you.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying he couldn't walk into into any team, so it's not a huge drop off. I using that to jump right back into my point. There's no one.
Kevin De Bruyne. Have we forgotten?
Yeah, De Bruyne is not playing the same. De Bruyne is not the same this season.
Yeah, this season.
Not the same this season. Yeah. Listen. I'm not speaking stats only because I think De Bruyne still has like
11 assists.
Right. But I'm not speaking about that only.
Crazy.
He's been inconsistent in front of goal. He doesn't look the same when he's on the ball. I don't know if he's still being hampered with niggling injuries, but he does not look the same. I'm not saying that Gundogan is the best midfielder. In terms of talent, De Bruyne is better than him. There's no question. But I'm saying right now, it is Gundogan that's making that team tick because he is doing what Pep needs to be done in that team. Diaz, the drop off, like we just said, from Diaz to Laporte is not big. Marley, I get what you're saying about Harry Kane too, but Harry Kane's teammate has one less goal than him and about almost the same number of assists. I get what you're trying to say too, but I can't give you that. And in terms with you, Jill,
the assist is 6-11. It's
6-11. All right, cool. Fair enough. But the fact of the matter is, Son is playing well as well too.
Agreed.
And to you, Jill, I feel like one of the main. While I get your point with Villa, Jack Grealish was there last year, and they finished like 16th or 17th or whatever.
He saved them on the last.
You know what move they made that propelled them to where they are now? Emi Martinez.
What, Emiliano?
Emi Martinez. Emi Martinez. So while you have a valid point with everything you said about Grealish, one of the major factors, the major turning points for Aston Villa was the fact that they now have a solid keeper. As everybody argument dismantle now, it is Gundogan.
Yours as well because for
absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. The thing about it is, now Cancelo gets no credit here. He's been arguably the best right back in the league.
He ain't got nothing to do.
Because Ruben Diaz is the defender at the back. When you have somebody with such a common presence, you are allowed to perform in a more creative manner going forward. And Diaz allows that. That's how important he has been for the club. Marley, I can let you go along because I know what you're saying.
But that's another reason why I disagree with AJ as well too. Which is why I said I disagree with AJ a bit more strongly than I disagree with you, is because I feel that if Gundogan goes down, yes, you're going to miss a midfielder that is in a purple patch. But is it that purple patch as a result of so many other players in that City side being informed altogether?
No, like who else is in his kind of form? Outside of Ruben Diaz that we outlined, and the defense, right? Who else attacking wise? Like I just outlined, KD being playing, Bernardo Silva ain't playing nothing.
I mean, let's say
all of these men are having average seasons, you know. Huh?
If Gundogan gets injured today, you look at that bench, you look at that squad. I don't see looking at it like, oh my God, our season is over. As opposed to Harry Kane or Bruno Fernandes. If one of them,
you need to pick one and stop. You need to pick one. Make a commitment.
Harry Kane. Good. That was just an argument.
So don't call him Bruno.
And there's a young Englishman that AJ failed to mention that comes off the bench and performs admirably at Guardiola. Phil Foden, sir.
Yes, I'm not saying not. I'm not saying Phil Foden was the man of the match today, but he was amazing today. But as you just said, he coming off the bench. Foden is not the man who in the team week in and week out. Phil Foden gets some rotational. Huh?
I'm not convinced by Gundogan argument though, AJ.
Sorry. I am.
So be that we are stuck in an impasse here. We will segue into a different part now where the defending champions have stuttered yet again. Liverpool beaten today soundly by Manchester City, and they've had a number of defeats on the bounce. What is really wrong with Liverpool, Jilks? I guess you could start with this one.
It's simple. The defense. Last year, the defense and the goalkeeping is what won them, basically won the title. Along with Mane and Firmino and Salah scoring goals, but they are doing that this season. But it's the defense. Before Van Dijk, before Fabinho has a slotting, and then Alisson is shotty in and out. Look at today, gave away a simple pass to clear the ball out. As we know, Alisson is very, very, very good with his feet. And today he just looked like, let me not call a poor keeper, so let me just leave it as that. But today he was very poor, and before Van Dijk, they don't look solid at the back. In midfield is okay. I think Thiago needs time. He's in and out his injury. He was always injury prone. I didn't expect him to play 32 games in the season. or 38 games to minimum 32. But and their midfield is okay. They need some refreshing, I guess. The youngsters they bought last season were not integrated properly. I know they're back trying to play Shaqiri because the attack was failing. So I think they just need some refreshing players, but
Is it
they
title
don't have any money.
Is Liverpool's title defense over?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liverpool for me, and I don't want to get sucked into a knee-jerk reaction when it comes to Liverpool this season, because I saw what Liverpool could do last year. I kind of feel for Klopp and Liverpool. I know it got to sound a bit crazy talking about you feel for a manager who at one of the elite clubs in England with one of the better squads in Europe, and saying you feel for them. But genuinely, like when you see injuries strike, like how injuries hit Liverpool this year, that's crazy. Like you lose Van Dijk for the season, you lose Gomez for the season, you got niggling injuries to your best player essentially at one point in Diogo Jota. You got all kind of injuries in the midfield. Like it's crazy. It's everywhere. And Klopp is, by extension, his squad feeds off for it as well. He is a very, very motivating and very inspirational manager. And a lot of his management, in my opinion, just come down to momentum. And when you stuttering and you have the type of start season that they've been having, just based on certain players getting a run of 3 or 4 games, looking like Liverpool coming back, and then bam, you injured, you're up for 6 weeks, you're up for 4 weeks. It's crazy. So I kind of feel for Liverpool. And the last thing I would say to another point is the balance. The injuries come and offset the balance, the overall balance of the side. And we know how Klopp like to play. That heavy metal football, that all-out football. If you don't have the right balance and the right players at the back, you're going to run yourself in issues. And Van Dijk being out, Gomez being out, Matip being out, to he having to revert to play Henderson. At one point, one of the centre-back partnership with today was Henderson and Fabinho. Madness, like absolute madness. And there's no way that you can have a proper base in your midfield, like that springboard that Klopp does need, where you're having to play 2 of your better central midfielders at centre back. So it's like the whole balance of the side all set from the back coming right up, and the struggles that the attackers was having and the whole all that was just symptomatic of that to me. So I kind of feel for Klopp. But to answer the question at hand, yeah, the title over. 10 points back, play the game more, title gone, fam. It gone. Sit here and drop in the camp.
I disagree.
Wait, I kind of want to. Because what I want to say, it kind of picks up a little momentum from what was said before. So Jill started it, and then Marley touched on it a bit more in depth. So I kind of want to piggyback off of that too. I think some of the troubles are down to the injuries, yes, but to go deeper, it is to me what Marley was saying, especially the fact that they're playing their most important midfielders at center back, right? And this makeshift midfield, that they have right now, is not doing the job of some white people. Let's do some anyway. You can edit out. Anyhow, so they're playing some makeshift midfielders, and the midfield doesn't have chemistry. I feel like the players are playing well, but there's no chemistry, and is not allowing them to facilitate the 4-3. Look, the fact of the matter is, Liverpool's front three in scoring goals is about 3 games now. This is 3 home games they lost, and they just broke a duck today of
400 minutes
without scoring, right, and that kind of thing. And I feel like that's down to the midfield not being able to do their job.
Yes.
Right, and so the plethora of injuries across the defense and them having to play center backs, which is why they had to go and sign not just 1 but 2 center backs in this window.
Correct.
Because Fabinho and Henderson are missing from the mid. Mind you, Henderson in key cog to me, but he just fits everything that Klopp wants to do. So I feel like having to play, and in addition, right, I feel like I need to add this because this has been going on for a while now. Trent Alexander-Arnold looks terrible defensively. He's being shown up and is like almost, if you attack his side every game, you are almost definitely going to score. Today the man was ripped up, and is even games when and you know what's the thing, it could be a bad patch because he's not performing going forward as well. But defensively, is like the man just looks out of sorts. So that could be down to him not having his usual strength in defense as well. But I don't know what it is. But yeah, I think so. Is the injuries primarily, but that's the domino effect from those injuries, which I think is the reason why.
Yeah, so I completely agree with that point. However, I don't think that the title race is over for Liverpool. I think mathematically, when you look at it, 10 points with about 16 games still left in the season is not insurmountable. You can still make up for that. However, with the frailties they've had with injuries and not being able, because Klopp's style and philosophy is based on a lot of intensity. Being not able to find that balance, like Marley said, it's difficult to create that intensity going forward. So from that standpoint, I totally understand what you guys were saying. However, when I looking at this table, I see that everybody's in form, everybody's been inconsistent, bar City. But City may be just 2-3 bad injuries away from dropping down the table, which may open a door for Liverpool to capitalize. All they need to do is to sustain some consistency in the midfield and get those two defenders in, build a good nucleus, and maybe they confront a better challenge towards City.
But my problem with that, Doms, is that yeah, because I for one, I remember having this argument with Rohan in the chat the other day when he was saying, yeah, City down in the league, City down. I think this was 2 games ago. And I was telling him, man, City got a tricky run of fixtures coming up.
Yeah.
Got Liverpool and got Spurs. They could drop some point. Why everybody like saying, yeah, all over already? I don't think so. But my personal issue is, if we're saying, yeah, specifically, is it over for Liverpool? I mathematically, I can't say over overall, but what I think is over for Liverpool is just that. The same thing again, momentum. I just don't see City dropping the amount of points Liverpool would need to surpass them, based on the fact that Liverpool will drop a few more points this season. Again, like, even if it's he's trying to figure out the balance incorporating these new centre backs, whether it's trying to just get his start, offensive start, it was the right combo. Should they pick Shaqiri in the midfield three or up top? Like the whole works when they gonna get Jean back. I just think Liverpool will drop more points. And for Liverpool specifically, I take your point. It's not over yet. I genuinely take, but I just think they're gonna drop more points down. And I just can't see Liverpool. I might got my foot in my mouth here in a couple of months, but I can't see Liverpool.
I saw AJ mention that Trent Alexander-Arnold was having a bad time. But Roberto Firmino as well must be mentioned. Sure. He has to be mentioned because, again, his frailties at the front is being shown up. His not being able to be clinical when it's necessary for Liverpool is showing up. So he has to be something that Klopp has to wonder about going forward. Yeah. Has to wonder when Jota is back, if he will be back as soon as possible so that he can capitalize on the starting spot.
The thing about that is, right, and you're not wrong, but the thing about it that is, I as much as Firmino kind of like attains to Klopp's philosophy and whatnot, Firmino is a lot of the time is be like the first man sub, you know, he's always be a sub, you know.
Yep.
Klopp always looking for somebody to put in for Firmino, you know. That's the thing. So I as much as that is the case, I don't feel like Firmino was always like a stalwart in this team. It's like, all right, he's solid, he's efficient, but on days when he's bad, I need a backup for him. But in terms of Trent, the reason why I pointed out Trent is because he's supposed to be like a mainstay in this team right now, you know.
Yeah, he had elevated to the best right back in the world at a stage. You know, people were lauding him with that.
Yeah, right. Trent don't fight for his England spot. That's just our form. He ain't like that.
Exactly. And
fight with who though?
You think it's that cemented? You think it's that cemented right now? I
don't think there's anybody that would displace Trent unless he has a horrible injury. I don't see it. I don't see it. Right,
I don't feel like
Walker,
he would do this, but
the boy at Atletico Madrid. There's so many right backs that England have at their disposal. I just don't
So
see.
you don't think at this point, you don't think at this point that the run of games that Rich James had right back when he impressed recently. I ain't saying he will automatically walk in, but if this trajectory for Trent and Liverpool continues, you had a little. I remember in the last three games or so, Rich James had a little run in the side and was getting lauded by all the commentators, the whole works and so on. Mm-hmm. You got some boy like Lester James Justin.
Yeah.
You got other players there that could challenge the spot. Realistically, Trent's spot is he's Trent at the moment, but if he continues for much longer, you can't. And we all know in this sport, you can't really allow men to get their foot in the door.
Pickford did it for years.
Man will put you on the bench. You got a perfect example of that at your side as well, too, Dom. With Skriniar and others too. Like when other men get them foot in the door, man, it's be crazy.
Yeah, because the point that I was making just now is that Jordan Pickford has been the England goalkeeper for a better part of the last 24 months. After Joe Hart, basically he was cemented as the goalkeeper, and he has been deplorable at times. He's been too inconsistent, but yet he still holds the spot as England number one.
The goalkeeper position generally is something England have mishandled for a while, because Joe Hart overstayed his welcome there too. If we being very honest,
yes,
Joe Hart overstayed his welcome. He should have been getting phased out at a point in time where he was still playing every single game and playing against Malta when they had already clinched the qualifying group and all sort of foolish.
But don't you think that the Manchester United backup keeper, I know you felt like he should have been the number one, but now that he's taken up the backup spot to David De Gea, he's kind of lost it in a sense to Nick Pope.
I felt like what Southgate should have been doing is trying to find the next successor. So at the point when it was Hart, at that point it was kind of clear that Jordan Pickford was going to be next, right? And he wasn't playing Pickford getting Pickford enough games. And then he went and played Hart it was the Euros or World Cup or whatever it was. And then he wasn't good. Hart wasn't good. And now I feel like it's the same thing happening again with Pickford. Pickford isn't good, but he's not giving anyone else. He's not allowing other players to get enough caps to get blooded into the team, to get integrated into the team and get familiar with the guys on the team. And it can be the same thing. Look, if England underperforms, better for me,
But what do you think, though, Jill? So what do you think on that topic?
Well, I have a slight
soft spot for Jordan.
But yeah, Jordan's my guy, but honestly, Pickford needs to go. I didn't know that's exactly what you asked me the question, right?
I'm so dirty,
Pickford needs to go, though. It's honestly the truth. Pickford.
Jordan average, though. Jordan average.
He gets every game.
Yeah,
I remember at one point they were saying it's because he's too sharp, but really and truly, I don't think that matters. He just makes easy mistakes, and it's too much. It's a lot. So I think he needs to go. I'm not sure about Henderson. To me, the fact that Henderson is now number 2, like you said, I think Pope will overtake him, but.
No.
But when I guess they will have to give it to Pope, and unless Henderson becomes number 1 or gets a run of games in United, which he may need, because look at the had been making mistakes years now, but I guess he was the guy that was making all the big saves when United was poor, so they may just have to give it to Pope and let Pickford sit down.
I feel like a lot of these major decisions just be down to what club you play for. Right now, Jordan Pickford plays for Everton. Everton is basically a European hopeful. Pope doesn't play for a European hopeful. So it leans back into what the manager sees for the England team. He wants someone that is consistently at the top of the table or somewhere thereabouts, someone that is going to be somewhere in Europe at some stage in their career. He doesn't see that for Pope. That's why Jordan Pickford is usually picked. So, I mean, it's difficult, but that's the situation England faced with.
The ball was in the net often too.
but we'll go into West Ham. West Ham have done well this season, though, guys. What's the ceiling for West Ham? Like
Europa League.
Yeah, Europa League.
Europa League.
Europa.
Correct.
Europa League.
At this
As
point,
Moyes
sorry.
may stay.
Oh yeah, at this point, right? I feel like you can't discredit them and look past it. Like more about 3/4 of the season gone, and the men look like they have been playing well enough to maintain a spot in this to get into Europe. But I can't give top 4 yet. I can't give top 4 yet. I don't know if it is the team itself or is a part of me does not have the faith in Moyes to keep them going to get a top 4 spot as yet. I feel like if they could build on it from this season, you never know. Moyes might be able to do it because but even when he got Everton that close, they finished 5th, wasn't it?
Fourth. They finished fourth.
Finished
I think they finished 4th under Moyes.
Chelsea won.
Yeah, and that was before the Champions League converted to 14.
Right. So either way, yeah. So he scraped the top 4. So I mean, it's not impossible, but I just don't have that faith in Moyes.
Don't say he scraped a top 4 with Everton. He got a top 4. Don't say that about Everton. Carry on now.
So Marley, what do you think about West Ham? What do you think about West Ham? What are your personal feelings towards West Ham?
That's how when you watch them, in my opinion, it's just one of those instances where calling him mid-table managers harsh. I don't know. A lesser, let me say a lesser manager. That's not a tad bit more diplomatic. I think one of the lesser managers just gets a couple of his signings, particularly comes in. He actually gets a couple of the signings that he wants, and they come in and they complement the squad really well. And he getting them to play his way, and they hit a purple patch. I genuinely don't see West Ham making the top 4. I think over the stretch of the season, I don't think they'll necessarily be found out. They will beat a lot of the sides that in and around them and beneath them and so on. They may even get over one of the bigger sides too. But I think overall, at some point, they might revert to the mean of one injury to one crucial player here. You know what I mean? A suspension in a couple of suspensions in a couple of key games there. I think they will eventually revert to the mean. They're playing well and they're doing what Moyes wants them to do. And well done to Moyes up until this point, because I don't think anybody, including myself, gave Moyes the chance of putting this kind of run together before the season.
I think West Ham exceeding expectations actually.
Yeah,
I think their ceiling would be about 7th, 8th. I actually don't even have them in the top 6. And primarily the reason for that is I don't see a striker that fills me with enough confidence to feel as though these men can go forward. Mikel Antonio only got 5 goals this season. 5 goals. That's not enough. He's not a world-class striker. He's not even a very good striker. He's not even a striker for that matter. You understand? He's deployed in his striking position, but he does not act like a strong target man up front. And I feel as though that is one of the issues. Yes, they've developed one of the better center midfield pairings in the league. I think Declan Rice has shown that he's one of the better midfielders, and partnered with Souček, they've really shown a chemistry together. But besides that, there's nothing really to mention about West Ham. A lot of their attacks is done wide. They don't have enough creativity going forward. They don't score many goals. They don't defend particularly superbly. It just seems as though West Ham riding a lot of luck. And I know I might seem pessimistic in saying that, but I just don't see them finishing in the top 6, guys. I feel like their ceiling is 7th, maybe 8th, like just about there.
But okay, so echoing. Okay, so you don't see them finishing there. However, the 3 of us said we could see them making the Europa, right? In the past few seasons, teams that finished like 7th, up to about 7th have made Europa. So do you see them getting into Europa? That's what I want to know.
I feel like the last Europa spot open for them. The absolute last.
City about to win the League Cup again. So and that'll be another spot. And then what I can't even remember was the FA Cup. Can't remember was the FA Cup situation.
I want to feel if we move in that final. No big game manager.
It's not that I don't have Spurs have a trophy.
I do not, and cannot have faith in the team to win. I can't do it. I can't. You know, I can't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
At some stage during this season, Manchester City will drop a degree of form. They're on a 11-game win streak in the league. It could be the right moment for Mo to capitalize in the Carabao Cup and win a trophy finally for Tottenham Hotspur.
That's City's cup. But that ain't why I ask you. That's City's cup. That's
I don't
City's
trust it,
tournament.
Mo is a very, very, for all his shortcomings, when I know that he's a Mo guy. I like Mo for the entertainment factor. I like Mo for the type of football that he used to play before. But I believe that he's gotten a bit too defensive overall, but that's a conversation for another day. I like Mo for a number of factors. But yes, Tottenham have looked poor. Yes, he's gotten a bit more tetchy over the years, but one thing does remain: when Mourinho gets to a final, regardless of who Mourinho coaching, you gotta be careful. And I know City
tickling me, oh man, Mourinho, man.
It's clicking, but this what another thing to consider too, right, AJ, is how far away that game is. We don't know what type of form City can be in.
That is very true. But at the same time, Mo has never coached a team with this little pedigree. I don't care how good them looking. Even Porto had won a Champions League. Even Porto had won not a Champions League, but a European Cup before he got there, right? So it's not like didn't they win like sometime in the 80s or something like that? Either way, I'm pretty sure they had one. And then he had Inter, he had Real Madrid. Not saying that just the teams he won Champions League with, but the teams he won stuff with. This team does not win. They don't win. I mean, they did win this competition. They did win this back in like it was 08 or 09 or something like that. But I can't have the faith, Marley. He would have to
many players.
And especially since
one last question. What would you say then if Mo in this horrible patch of form, City up next week? City absolutely flying. And Mourinho come. We're not the same game plan used last time because it worked, but we could say he was a tad bit fortunate. It was a master class, but he was a tad bit fortunate in a couple of areas.
But they won 2-0, right?
Yeah, 2-0. But Tottenham got it done in the end. Yeah. What would you? It's still a bit more confidence in you. What if Spurs come and do the unthinkable and take 3 points off for City next game? You would have think at this point he go a little saying going on Pep. Or not really?
Nope, doesn't convince me. Competition, a final is something else. And like I said, a part of that too is because of the team that they're playing. Pep and City have dominated this competition, specifically this cup.
Yes, they
specifically since he has been in England, right? So a lot of that has to do with it. And then I just
Mo doesn't lose finals, AJ.
I understand, but Tottenham doesn't win them either. So it's an unstoppable force versus a movable object. So we can see what happened.
Yeah.
So I want to say something here in regards to, I know Jilts earlier wanted to mention Thomas Soucek as being the most valuable player on the team and probably in the league, right? But he didn't mention it. However, where do you guys rate Thomas Soucek? Is he on the cusp of being a world-class player? Is he one of the best midfielders in the league? Where is the positioning for Thomas Soucek in the plethora of midfielders in the Premier League and in world football for that matter? I can let Jill handle it first. He's the man that brought Thomas Soucek name up.
I won't say he's that high though, to be honest. He does what Moyes want him to do, which is when the ball is spray wide and is heading to the box, you bomb forward to the top of the box to try to either head it, or as you see recently, he starts scoring with his feet. So I would not say he's not a bad midfielder, but he fits Moyes' system and what Moyes wants him to do, which is to be a box-to-box midfielder. You basically Fellaini 2.0, 0.5, whichever you want.
Man, use Fellaini.
But I mean, I thought about more. Moyes did have Fellaini playing some people.
Yeah, Fellaini was Moyes.
I get what you're saying.
When he needed a goal, he used to bring on Fellaini, and Fellaini used to head the ball in the back of the net. That is exactly what Soucek does, but he does more in the midfield. He breaks up plays, he tackles, he does all of that. Fellaini was a whole different ball game, but he does that. So I would say right now he's one I would say within the top 5 in terms of what he does working and stuff, but I would not say he's the best in the Premier League. Hence why they went with him, with the most viable player. But he does what Moyes does, and with doing that, as you see, he has 8 goals in the Premier League. And that is a good output coming from a team that does not score a lot. He has more than their striker, Antonio. So that is great for him. As you see from last year where he was on loan, he was already doing good. He was already doing well. Everyone was saying this Souček fella he looks good. He looks good on paper. He looks good on what he's doing on the field. And they made the transfer permanent. And since then, he's just kicked on. But in terms of best midfielder, I won't put him in that list yet. I won't say he's quality. I would say he's good with room of improvement, but I won't say he's quality. He's doing what the manager wants.
How old is Thomas Souček?
He's mid-20s, like 25 or 26 or something like that. Yeah.
He's just one of Aaron Robin types.
Yeah.
what I want to say though, Souček does remind me a bit a Crouch with that type of stature in wearing that he look kind of innocuous. He's one tall man, like he should be playing volleyball, but he's a bit better with his feet than you anticipate.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's giving me that kind of vibe. Overall, I try to be a bit careful with their type of players when they're having these purple patches too, because you could play in a side like West Ham where you got a pragmatic manager like David Moyes, and you afforded that kind of shield, you know what I mean? And you can start from a deeper block than probably more size would and so on, and you afforded kind of a shield in front of you so you can look better. You kind of protect it in a way, if you guys follow me. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Yeah. He got the protection around it, and then he burst it forward and scored the goals. But then when you say, he doing extremely good, he could go to a bigger club and he would do this and do that, and then he go and drop in a side that plays something a bit more expansive. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he looked like a completely different player because he ain't being protected in the very same way. What I would say though is 8 goals playing as deep as he does. That is a hell of an achievement, to be honest, and well done to him. And just well done to him. Well, that's all I can really say about Souček. Whether he is, I can't say he's the best midfielder in the league. You got some top players in that league. One of the best goal scoring midfielders. You might have a better argument there if you keep it up, but I would say. I want to say pump the brakes. That sounds so hard for a man doing what he's doing right now, but put it in neutral then. Put it in neutral.
Put it in neutral.
Put it in neutral at the moment, but he's doing well. Well done to him.
So, AJ, what do you think about Souček?
I feel like he could be in an argument for the best signing of the season. I think he's doing very well. I like Marley. I don't like to necessarily get caught up in a player going through a purple patch, especially when that purple patch consists of goals, right? Because I like to see production outside of goals. I like to see what you do outside of goals. But to his credit, Souček is performing on both sides of the ball. The goals are an added bonus, but he is playing well. But you, Dom, did mention as well that they're like one of the best partnerships. He does have Declan Rice next to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, and like Jilk said before as well, he does what Moyes wants him to do. He's playing in a system where he is flourishing, whether it's going forward or being able to break a play, and he has a partner next to him that is allowing him to do that as well. And like looking at him, he passes the ball very well. Like he's a really good footballer. I cannot say world class as yet because he just started doing it this season.
Yes.
I personally do not throw around the world class tag unless I see enough of that, like on a consistent, and I'm speaking seasons.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally.
Not just one. But I do think credit where credit is due. You have to, as we say back home, give Jackie jacket. The man playing some real football on both sides of the ball, and you can't discredit that at the moment. So, yes, in terms of form, he is one of the better midfielders in the league.
Top 3?
Why you want me to put this in absolutions right now? I can't leave it so vague.
Top five, sir?
He obviously behind Gundogan. Right? But what's wrong with you?
No, it's just say not even in top 5.
Not even in top 5.
But he ain't gonna be top 3. If you go top 3, you got what? Gundogan, you probably got Fernandes, and then who? Who you calling before Thomas Suchek?
That's a good question.
So who you calling before Suchek?
Right now, to be fair, and Dominic playing really well too. Huh?
Jack Grealish.
Yeah,
my most valuable player.
I just call Jack Grealish more of a forward more so than a midfielder. I put him in that bracket. However,
I know the argument probably there for Suchek, but I can't make it right now. I got to think about
playing better than Ndombele though in terms of consistency across.
I feel like he's playing better in terms of stats too. But when you look at Ndombele's like when he is in form, you're right. He probably is more consistent, but I feel like Ndombele does a lot for that team. But you're right. It's when he plays well.
Yeah.
Ndombele doesn't have the goal scoring.
No, he doesn't.
The goal scoring notes like the eye or the anticipation for a goal. Like Suchek has it.
He doesn't.
And Ndombele playing some really good stuff. Real talk. Like you watch this man, even when Spurs was dreadful against Chelsea the other day. Man had a master game, man. Like the man was arguably the best midfielder on the pitch, if not player. Man had a top game, and Spurs had looked like that. So I get your point.
You know, it took a lot out of me to say that.
But once I see more consistently for Ndombele, I would believe that he will fit into the category of a top 5 midfielder. However, Suchek, I don't think he gets enough credit for his movement off the ball. There have been some runs I've seen him be making and some goals he's been scoring that required a higher intelligence to make that run. And I feel like Suchek has achieved that this season. If he can continue on that base, I cannot answer that. It's something that we will have to look forward to. But I feel as though Suchek is being underrated in terms of his performances across the season for West Ham, who right now are sitting in 6th place.
But I will say this to AJ's point, because AJ mentioned he was only doing it from the beginning of the season, but he was doing it from when he was on loan. Hence why they made the transfer permanent. So it's about 12 months he was doing it.
Was he scoring this much last season?
No. I think he scored about 3 or 4 last season.
Okay.
He scored about 3 or 4.
I feel like he's scoring with more of a free will now. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. The signs were there last season. And to what your mom was saying, and it completely slipped my mind to mention that too. The man's movement is actually really good.
Very.
He does a good job of getting into the box, like and being unmarked, like not allowing someone not inside there standing up. Like he would get there as the players is getting to that area and be able to like stick a foot out and put a goal in and head and that kind of thing. But you're right, it was there from last season, but that was.
That's one of the intangibles that you can't really teach either.
You can't coach that. You can't coach that into player.
Yeah, that's one of the invaluable
footballing IQ.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we can move on for the Premier League. I know we have some La Liga guys here, so I want to go into the La Liga. Aguero will be free this summer, and is said that he will be happy to join Barcelona. Would that be a good move for Barcelona? Would that be a good move for Aguero? What were your thoughts, Marley? I can start with you as a Madrid player.
I was just gonna beg you to start with the Madrid man. Like I was gonna beg you, just know, but you this telepathic dumbs, like real talk. Actually, just first thing I go to say no, I mean on La Liga. I feel like I got a spurt of energy, like I was drinking coffee. Just crazy person. You get a single-handedly hand the league to Atletico. Like, what is going on with that management over there? Like, you not only like pushing yourself, destruct back for one itself, like when I'm doing it for the whole league. I had to get that off my chest. Like, it's like I don't understand what is going on. Like, I want to like this. Anyways, I had to get that off my chest. Anyways, in terms of what was the question again?
Aguero to Barcelona.
Right, Aguero to Barcelona. Yeah, Aguero. I think Aguero to Barcelona would be a good fit. Not anymore in the right mind would be wanting to get to Barcelona at this point.
Would he do what Suarez is doing at Atletico?
Sorry?
Would he do what Suarez is doing at Atletico?
That's arguable, you know. That's genuinely arguable because Aguero is just one of those touch players, one of those instinctive players that I think would at that striker position right now, definitely Aguero would improve. Even at what, 32 years old? He is?
Mm-hmm.
At 32 years old, Aguero goes to Barcelona. Probably, hopefully for them, I don't know. That's another conversation for another with Messi around him, with what's the other guy called that linking up so well, man? Not Trincao. Is it Trincao?
Pedri.
Pedri with nice little touch players in between there and then around him with Frankie De Jong and so on. I think Aguero scores goals. He knows the league. He was prolific in the league before. He was going to a Barcelona side that essentially plays the same kind of ethos that he accustomed to at this point being under Guardiola at Manchester City. Long story short, I don't think it would be that hard of a transition for him. He ain't got to learn the language. He know the league already. He's already a technical player. I think Aguero would go into Barcelona and score goals. Whether or not, the argument for me is whether or not it would be a good move for Sergio Aguero at this point. Barcelona are rife with all kind of issues off the field. Would you be walking into a cesspool of problems and bad blood when it comes to presidential kind of elections, the whole works? In terms of a footballing answer, for me, Aguero will go to Barcelona and fit in. Aguero will go to Barcelona and score goals. In terms of a sporting decision, I don't know if it's the best move at this point, and I honestly am biased in that regard.
But to add to you, Marley, as well, he may go to a Messi-less Barcelona. Yeah, that is a factor that you have to put in as well, because we don't know if Messi will be there as well, because he's free as well. But to me, it will be a good move. It's definitely will be a better striker than what is there now. He would score goals, but I don't think he will replicate what Suarez is doing at Atletico. I don't think no one expects what Suarez is doing at Atletico currently, no, because in the past 2 seasons, Suarez was on a big decline. Suarez was not the Suarez that we know of in the past 3 seasons.
So, I tell you, Dom,
It's a case where that Suarez is just fine. I don't know what to say, what he did, whatever he did. Kudos to him. He's doing extremely well. The league top goal scorer, and kudos to him. But I don't think Aguero will be like that. I would say maybe if he was to come 15 goals for the season would be a lot. That would be ceiling to him.
So just to piggyback on what you said, Jill, if Sergio Aguero is going to go to Barcelona to score only 15 goals, I do not think that's a good move. That is not a good move. You could invest those wages, because he will come with high wages. And Barcelona reported financial difficulties is out there for everyone to see. So if he's coming with that wages, I would think that you would go after a younger player, someone that is more prominent at this stage, even Erling Haaland if necessary, who will still take less wages than Sergio Aguero. But let me better signing than Aguero. And just to say this, Luis Suarez, right, is top 2 best strikers of the last decade. Just to say top 2.
I agree. Top 2.
Of the last decade, you're throwing a decade part. You're throwing a decade part.
Robert Lewandowski.
Okay.
So hold on, Marley. Let me give you some background as to why Dom say. I'm not sure if you were on our live when we used to do the Instagram live on Sundays, right?
Yeah.
We had a discussion about who was the best striker in the world at that point, and Dom was saying Lewandowski for fair reason, right? My argument that it was still Suarez, even though Lewandowski was scoring like for fun at that point. My argument was I don't see Lewandowski showing up in big games, and Suarez had done it. And I said, even when Suarez was going through a decline, and I said, to me, he's still a better striker than Lewandowski. When you need him to score, he will score. Lewandowski he will score a hat-trick for Bayern when they wrote a team 8-1, but when they need a goal in a semi-final or something, so you can't see. And it's not just that he don't, Dominic, let me speak, Dominic. And it's not just that he doesn't score. It's not just that he doesn't score, he doesn't play well. So I am not surprised to see Suarez doing this because I said back then, and I'm going to say it still, Suarez is still better than Lewandowski. I would still take Suarez over Lewandowski because Lewandowski still improved that to me. Anyhow, the question was on Aguero. I just need to get that off my chest, like Marley. The question is about Aguero. The question is about Aguero, and you know what? I'll be succinct with this part. I don't need to. I don't want to rehash anything that was already said. Honestly, for me, this is if Messi stays at the club, is a good move. If he doesn't, it's a bad move. It's as simple as that for me.
But touching on Dom's point, with the 15 goals, how much does Martin Braithwaite have, sir? How much does Griezmann have? The 15 goals is more than what they're producing currently. So I would take the 15 goals over what they have
You
currently.
are Barcelona, sir. You need strikers to score 25 plus in a season.
But they're not even scoring 10. So
why waste your time with a temporary solution when you can get someone that is more long-term?
Ask the board that.
AJ said if they keep Messi, right, it would be a good signing. However, financially, Barcelona will be in holes, brother. I don't think that will be the best decision going forward. They already got to look at Griezmann's contract. He's earning a boatload of cash. Coutinho's contract. So why add Aguero when you have this boatload of issues already? That is my problem with bringing Aguero.
Key signing, marquee
Get someone.
signing.
Right now, I would blow up the squad, to be quite honest with you. Focus on the younger nucleus of the team. Focus on the La Masia program. Look at it as areas.
Call his name. Call his name. Call his name. You didn't call his name. Ricky Pooch. You didn't call the name. Focus on him, sir. Focus on him.
Well, we have a late addition here. Wow.
I just saw.
Call his name, sir. Ricky Pooch.
The infatuation and the sensationalism around these La Masia products anymore. Like it is peeing me.
So before we go any further, let me update Graham. Graham, we are presently speaking about would Sergio Aguero be a good move to Barcelona, and would it be a good move for the player and for the club? What were your thoughts on that? We're actually quite interested. Say that turn up.
That's a good question. I think it wouldn't be a bad move. I don't think it would be ideal for Barca in terms of like the youth and like the direction they want. But I guess like from an experience perspective, like if example, if you could draw reference to like what Zlatan is doing with AC in terms of experience in the club, the Barca is going in the direction now. They're looking to bring a lot of youngsters in, but I mean, Aguero is still a point of reference. You could still learn a lot from Aguero. So, I mean, if it makes sense economically, I think it could be a benefit to Barca, but he can't go there as a starter because if you think about it, Aguero hasn't really played a lot this season too. So you go ask yourself, like, what Aguero you get him when you go to Barca? Are you getting the Aguero we know from 2-3 years ago that can score 20 plus goals, 30 plus goals a season, or you can get somebody who just can get paid back. So it will be a risk for Barca, but I can understand the sentiments and wanting Aguero to come back to Spain. If it is a move to get Messi to stay, it may be. If you're looking to get Messi to stay, bring Aguero, that might be a lot of incentive for Messi to stay. But in the absence of Messi,
but what happens to Griezmann?
Griezmann will still find they still gonna find a role for Griezmann in the system because
Griezmann won't strike.
But Flick, the reported financial difficulties Barcelona presently had, you add in Aguero to that. His contract is already lavish.
But the good thing about it is that you won't have to pay a transfer fee. So I don't know if you can, I think his contract is up this season, right? No?
Yeah. He will be free. He'll be free in the
So
summer.
if it is like he goes on a free, I mean, I guess you could balance the transfer fee on the wages. I don't know. Economically, I guess Barca will have to make that decision, but
I think I agree with AJ. Sorry, Flick. Sorry to cross.
That's cool. That's cool. But I mean, I don't feel it would be a bad move, but I don't think it's going to be like the best investment. I don't think it's the best investment. I think it could work.
I agree with AJ. Like, if we're talking from the player point of view, if Messi's still there, it's a good move. If Messi gone, like keep around down there
for what? To go and jump in that cesspool after Messi left, man, and what? Everybody relying on you to come in there and score goals. Coming off an injury, Messi in there, so you gonna be the big man up front. It don't make no sense from his perspective if
But-
Messi isn't there. But it could be a
The
catch-22.
presidential election will be key. It will be key.
Election, yeah.
But you think do you think that Aguero still has a future at City? That's another question you got.
If I think he has a future,
At City.
I think he
at City,
wants to leave.
I really don't know because I don't feel like Pep has been doing a lot of succession planning because Gabriel Jesus ain't really been performing at the level you would want him to at this point, but he persistent with Jesus. And then when Aguero is fit, like he would rotate between the two, and Aguero is still the more likely to start. But even Aguero has fallen off a step at City. His movement is not all that good anymore. He just looks he looks lethargic on the pitch. The man is give away the ball so much. When he's not scoring, his football mechanics look bad. When he's not scoring the ball.
I think City's in the market for a striker.
They should be. They've
shown recent interest in Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, he's played in the Premier League. He has the experience of playing in the Premier League.
Well, that might just be sensational media because I can't really see Lukaku being a Pep.
But when you're looking at strikers today, there's only a handful of really top class strikers.
But you gotta talk about the philosophy of the club and the manager. I can't see Pep investing in Lukaku, and this is not a discredit to Lukaku as a striker, but in terms of what
he worked with Lewandowski.
He could work right because Lewandowski.
because Karl-Heinz
Lukaku has improved levels to what we've seen at Manchester United.
Okay, Dom, as an Inter fan, I understand your position, but let's be real. I don't see Lukaku.
You were showing them cards.
Yeah, I don't see Lukaku fitting into a Pep system.
So if you had to say a striker today, potentially going to City to replace Sergio Aguero, what three names would you list as potential?
Realistic targets.
Asking this on the spot as if you see these kind of questions. Because I don't necessarily feel that if he were to sign a striker, it would have to be a big name striker.
No, exactly.
Pep is the kind of man that would sign a youngster who's showing potential and
Ferran Torres.
He like to build up their man.
Ferran Torres. Why you can let Jilts chime in here?
There's only one. I think he will go for Haaland.
And Marley.
That's the only player.
I won't want to keep my eyes on for Erling Haaland.
But I thought Madrid want Mbappe. I thought that's the move. I thought Mbappe is the target. Or you taking anybody that could come.
Mbappe is the main target, to be very honest. That Mbappe is Zidane's target, and Perez like him a lot, to be pretty sure.
He's a Galacticos,
which is you.
right?
When Perez like you, Perez is tight.
Right, a Galacticos.
But Haaland was on the radar as well. We need a striker, man.
I think we can continue this particular question with Madrid needing a striker at a later time. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. Flick, you need to be earlier.
I understand.
We can work on you. We pay homage to Bob Marley with including Marley Leacock.
Right. Well, I mean, if you really wanted to pay homage, it will have to happen. But I guess we can't do that.
And Jills is a pleasure. I think you added true value to the show today. I want to say good night. Thank you, everybody. Subscribe. Or the Instagram page, the YouTube. We can look to add everything for you guys. Look forward for it.
Hey guys.
I went from LA to the A on the run. You can tell where I stay.